Highway of Shadows, a terrifying night drive gone wrong. The night was thick with darkness as I gripped the steering wheel of my car, the hum of the engine my only companion on this desolate stretch of highway. I had always enjoyed the solitude of long drives at night, the road unfolding before me like a ribbon of mystery. But tonight, that sense of calm was about to be shattered, and I would be thrust into a nightmare I could never have imagined. I had been driving for hours, the clock on the dashboard reading 2:37 a.m. The only illumination came from the dim glow of the headlights, casting eerie shadows that danced in the periphery of my vision. The radio was playing static, a harsh, grating sound that only added to my unease. I reached for the dial to switch it off, but just as my fingers brushed the knob, a voice emerged from the speakers, a voice that sent a chill down my spine. "Keep driving," it whispered, a sinister undertone lacing its words. I froze, my hand hovering above the radio. That voice, it couldn't be real. It had to be a prank, a glitch in the radio signal, something to explain it away. But when I tried to turn the radio off, my fingers refused to obey, as if controlled by an unseen force. "Keep driving," the voice repeated, stronger this time, as if demanding compliance. Fear clenched at my chest, my heart pounding like a drum. My eyes darted to the rearview mirror, searching for any signs of another vehicle. But the highway stretched out behind me, empty and black as far as I could see. There was nowhere to turn, no escape from that haunting voice. My foot remained pressed against the accelerator, the car hurtling forward at an ever-increasing speed. Panic gripped me, and I fought to regain control, but the steering wheel was as unyielding as the radio dial. I was a passenger in my own car, a puppet on strings. The road ahead began to change, morphing into a nightmarish landscape. Trees loomed like spectral sentinels, their branches reaching out like skeletal fingers to grasp at the sky. Shadows danced on the asphalt, taking on grotesque forms that seemed to mock my terror. I wanted to scream, but my voice was caught in my throat. "Where are you taking me?" I managed to choke out, my voice barely a whisper. The voice from the radio didn't answer, but the car continued its relentless journey into the unknown. The air grew colder, and a fog descended, thick and suffocating. Visibility was reduced to mere feet, and I strained to see through the swirling mist. Then, emerging from the darkness, I saw it. A figure standing in the middle of the road. A figure that seemed to be made of shadows and mist, with glowing, malevolent eyes that fixed on me with a predatory hunger. I slammed on the brakes, my tires screeching against the pavement, but the car refused to stop. It sped toward the apparition with a horrifying inevitability. The figure raised a hand, and the car passed right through it, as if it were nothing more than smoke. Panic overwhelmed me, and I closed my eyes, waiting for the impact that never came. When I opened them again, the figure was gone, and the fog had lifted, leaving me alone on the empty highway. The radio was silent now, the voice having disappeared as mysteriously as it had come. I was in control of the car once more, but my hands still trembled on the steering wheel. I had no idea where I was, no sense of direction. It was as if I had been transported to another realm, a place where the rules of reality no longer applied. I drove on, my mind a whirlwind of confusion and fear. Hours passed, maybe even days. I had lost all track of time. The road stretched endlessly before me, and I felt like I was trapped in a never-ending nightmare. Then, just as suddenly as it had all begun, the highway came to an end. I slammed on the brakes, my car skidding to a stop at the edge of a cliff. Below, a chasm yawned, impossibly deep and shrouded in darkness. There was no way forward, no way back. I was trapped. I stumbled out of the car, my legs shaky as I approached the precipice. The wind howled in my ears, and I peered into the abyss, searching for any sign of salvation. But all I saw was an inky void that seemed to stretch on forever. A bone-chilling laughter echoed from behind me, and I spun around to see the shadowy figure from the road standing there, its eyes glowing with malevolence. It beckoned me toward the edge of the cliff, and I took a step forward, unable to resist its command. "Join us," it hissed, its voice a chorus of the damned. I hesitated for a moment, the abyss calling to me like a siren song. But then, with every ounce of strength I could muster, I turned and ran back to my car. I jumped inside, slammed my foot on the gas pedal, and sent the car hurtling backward away from the cliff. The figure gave chase, its shadowy form pursuing me with unnatural speed. It reached out, its hand passing through the back window, its fingers inches from my throat. But I kept driving, faster and faster, until the figure was nothing more than a distant specter in the rearview mirror. I didn't stop until I reached a small, well-lit gas station, where I finally found my voice to tell the attendant about the nightmarish ordeal I had just endured. He looked at me with a mixture of pity and disbelief, but I could see something else in his eyes, a glimmer of fear. As I sat in the safety of the gas station, I couldn't help but wonder if I had escaped that nightmarish highway, or if it had merely released me, waiting for another unsuspecting traveler to become ensnared in its web of darkness. One thing was certain: I would never drive alone at night again, for I had glimpsed a world where reality twisted and the boundaries of fear and despair blurred into a never-ending nightmare.